My name is Emily. I am 29 years old. I live in Canada. I work in the IT field. I build websites and help small businesses go online. But my life was not always like this. I did not grow up rich. I did not have a big house or fancy clothes. My family lived in a small town. My dad was a bus driver. My mom worked at a grocery store. They worked hard, but money was always a problem. We could not buy many things. We only had one old computer in the house, and it did not always work. Still, I liked using it. I liked learning how it worked. I liked clicking and typing. I wanted to know more. At school, I liked math. I also liked reading, but I loved computers the most. I asked my teacher one day, "How do websites work?" She smiled and said, "People write code to make websites." That word stayed in my mind. Code. I went to the library. I found books about computers. I read them slowly. Some words were hard, but I tried to understand. One day, I found a book called Learn to Code. I took it home and read it every night. I started to dream. I wanted to build websites. I wanted to help people online. I wanted to be a tech person. But people laughed at my dream. My cousin said, "You? A girl in tech? No way." My uncle said, "Just find a job at the store like your mom." My mom did not laugh. She said, "If you want to learn, we will find a way." I will never forget that. She worked extra hours to buy me a used laptop. It was slow, but it worked. I said, "Thank you, Mom." And I started learning every day. I watched free videos. I read simple blogs. I joined free online groups. I learned how to write small bits of code. I made a little page that said, "Hello, my name is Emily." I showed it to my mom. She smiled and said, "You made the computer talk." That is something. I kept learning. I failed many times. The page went blank. The buttons didn't work. I cried sometimes, but I didn't stop. Every mistake taught me something. I started helping others online. Some people asked, "How do I make a contact form?" I helped them. I wrote back in easy words. One day, someone said, "You are good at this. You explain things well." After high school, I wanted to study IT, but college was too expensive. We did not have the money, so I found a free program in the city. It taught coding and job skills. I had to take a bus for 1 hour each way, but I didn't care. I woke up early. I worked part-time at a coffee shop in the evenings. I studied at night. Some days I was very tired, but I told myself, "You are building your future. Keep going." In that program, I learned HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. At first, the code looked scary. So many symbols and lines. But then I understood it step by step. I made my first full website. It was for a friend who sold candles. She said, "I love this. How much do I pay you?" I said, Nothing. Just let me put my name at the bottom of the page. She said yes. That was my first real project. After the program, I looked for work. It was hard. Many companies wanted people with degrees, but one small company said, "We like your website. Come for an interview." I was nervous. I wore my only nice shirt. I sat in the office, hands shaking. They asked me questions. I answered honestly. At the end, they said, "You're hired." I was so happy. My first job in tech. I worked hard. I was the only woman on the team. But I didn't care. I listened. I learned. I asked questions. I took notes. I said yes to every task. I stayed late to fix bugs. One day, my manager said, "You are doing very well, Emily. You will go far." That day, I felt proud. Not just for me, but for my mom. I wanted her to see that her hard work mattered. After 1 year, I started helping new team members. They asked me how to do things. I showed them with care. I remembered how I felt when I started. I knew what it was like to be lost. So I was kind. People said, "Emily, you are not just smart. You are helpful." That made me think. I did not want to only work. I wanted to teach too. I wanted to help others who came from small towns like me. I started writing simple blog posts. I shared my story online. People wrote to me, "Your story gives me hope." I didn't know someone like me could do this. I felt something grow inside me, a new dream. I didn't just want to succeed. I wanted to lift others too. One evening, I opened my laptop and wrote, "Free online coding club for beginners." I shared the link in local Facebook groups. At first, only 2 people joined, then 5, then 10. We met every Saturday on video calls. I taught them how to build a page. I helped them when things went wrong. We laughed. We learned. One woman said, "I'm 40. I thought I was too old, but now I believe I can learn too." That made me cry. I never forgot her words. Now I had a job, a skill, and a way to help others. But I wanted more. I wanted to start something of my own. A place for women in tech. A small space where we could meet, learn, and grow together. I didn't have money, but I had an idea. And I had heart. Before I share the rest of my story, I need to know, where are you listening from? Knowing someone hears me, understands me, gives me strength. I called my new idea Code Together. I wanted to create a space where women could feel safe, ask questions, and learn at their own pace. I did not have money to rent a big place, so I started small. I used the community library. They had one room we could use for free on Sundays. I made posters. I walked around town and put them on coffee shop walls, bus stops, and grocery store windows. "Free computer classes for women," the poster said. "No experience needed. All welcome." The first Sunday, I came early. I cleaned the room and set up 5 laptops the library gave us. I waited. I was scared no one would come. But then the door opened. A young woman walked in. Her name was Lisa. She smiled and said, "I saw your poster." A few minutes later, 2 more women came. Then 1 more. We were 5 women in that room. I looked at them and said, "Let's learn together." And we did. Every Sunday, I showed them how to use a computer. We learned how to write emails, search for jobs online, and build small web pages. Some of the women were shy. Some were older. One woman, Maria, said, "I never used a computer before. I'm scared." I smiled and said, "Don't worry. We'll go slow. You're not alone." She gave me a small smile and sat down. Week after week, more women came. Some brought their daughters. Some brought their friends. We were learning. We were growing. And we were becoming a team. We shared tea and cookies. We talked about our dreams. Some wanted jobs. Some wanted to help their kids with school. Some just wanted to understand the online world. All of them were brave. All of them wanted more. I still worked at my job during the week. I built websites and worked with clients. On weekends, I ran the club. My life was busy, but it felt full. One day, my manager at work said, "Emily, we see what you're doing outside work. It's amazing." I was surprised. I asked, "How did you know?" He smiled. "We read your blog. We want to support your club." The next week, they sent 5 more laptops for our group. They also gave us free internet for the library room. I cried when I saw the gifts. I never asked for help. But now, help came to me. I felt so thankful. I wrote a long thank you note. I printed it and gave it to my manager. He read it and said, "Emily, you are not just a good coder. You are a good leader." After 1 year, something special happened. Lisa, the first woman who joined my club, got a job. She became a junior web developer. She ran into our Sunday class and said, "I did it! I got the job!" Everyone clapped and cheered. She looked at me with tears in her eyes. "Thank you, Emily. You changed my life." I hugged her. "No," I said. "You changed your life. I just showed you the way." That night, I could not sleep. I thought about how far we had come. I thought about the other women. I wanted to help more. So I wrote a message on LinkedIn. I shared our story. I said, "If you are a woman who wants to learn tech, you are welcome here." I added a photo of our group. The post went viral. Many people liked it and shared it. Some wrote, "How can we join?" Others wrote, "Can I help as a volunteer?" I started getting emails from women in other cities. They said, "We need something like this too." I didn't know what to do. I only had 1 room. I only had so much time. But I didn't want to say no. So I thought of a new way. I started a YouTube channel. I made short, easy videos. I showed how to build simple pages, use Google Docs, write emails, and apply for jobs online. I spoke slowly. I used clear words. I remembered what it felt like to be new. I made sure each video was short and easy to follow. People started watching. They wrote comments like, "I'm learning with my daughter," and "I finally sent my first email." One woman wrote, "I watch your videos every day. You helped me believe in myself." I smiled every time I read those messages. They made me feel warm inside. I knew I was doing the right thing. I wasn't famous. I wasn't rich. But I was helping. I was building something that mattered. One day, I got a message from a school in another town. The teacher said, "We have girls here who want to learn computers. Can you come?" I said yes. I packed my laptop and took the train. The school was small and the computers were old, but the girls had big eyes and bright smiles. I taught them for 2 hours. We made a page with their names on it. They were so happy. One girl said, "I want to be like you." I held her hand and said, "You can be better than me." More people started inviting me to speak. I talked at small events, libraries, and even a big tech conference. At first, I was nervous. I didn't know what to say. But I told my story. I spoke from the heart. And people listened. One day, I got an email from a reporter. She worked for a big newspaper in Canada. She wanted to write about our group. I was shy at first, but I said yes. The article came out with a big photo of me and the women from my class. The title said, "Small Town Woman Builds Big Future for Others." I laughed when I saw it. It was true, but I didn't do it alone. My mom kept that newspaper. She folded it and put it in a box with my baby shoes and school photos. "This is your story," she said. I hugged her. "This is our story, Mom." Now, my club is still growing. We meet both in person and online. We help each other. We cheer for each other. We cry together sometimes, but we never give up. One woman once said, "This place is more than a class. It is hope." She was right. We are not just learning. We are changing. We are building our lives one click at a time. One day, I got a message from a girl named Sophie. She lived in a small town far away. She said, "Hi, Emily. I saw your video. I want to learn coding, but I don't have a computer." I read her message twice. It made me stop. I knew that feeling. I knew how hard it was to want something but not have the tools. I wrote back, "Can you go to your school library?" She said, "We don't have one. I use my dad's phone to watch your videos." My heart broke a little, but it also grew. I wanted to help her. I posted online, "Does anyone have an old laptop to donate?" In 2 days, I got 10 replies. People were kind. People cared. One woman said, "I want to give my daughter's old laptop. She's in college now." I thanked her and sent the laptop to Sophie. A week later, Sophie sent a photo. She was smiling, holding the laptop in her hands. She wrote, "I made my first web page today. Thank you, Emily." I cried when I read that. I cried because I was proud, and I cried because I remembered my own first day. From that day, I started a new project. I called it One Laptop, One Life. I asked people to give their old devices. I fixed them, I cleaned them, and I gave them to girls and women who needed them. I didn't charge money. I only asked for one thing, that they learn something new and teach someone else one day. Soon, my house was full of boxes, old laptops, wires, notes. My mom said, "Emily, we need a bigger place." She was right. So I rented a small office. It was not fancy, but it was ours. I put up a big sign, "Code Together," a space to learn, share, and grow. On the first day, 20 people came. Some were shy. Some were excited. But all of them had one thing in common. They wanted to learn. Every day after work, I came to this space. I ran workshops. I helped fix problems. I made tea. I answered questions. I cleaned the floor. I did everything. I was tired, but I was happy. I was doing something that gave me purpose, something that gave me light. One evening, a woman named Grace walked in. She looked nervous. "I'm 50, she said. "Is it too late for me to learn?" I smiled and said, "It's never too late. Sit with us." Grace started coming every week. She learned slowly. She asked many questions, but she never gave up. After 3 months, she built a website for her small baking business. She said, "I got my first online order yesterday." We all clapped. Grace cried, "I thought I was too old to learn, but now I feel young again." Stories like that filled my days, and they filled my heart. I saw women grow strong. I saw them get jobs. I saw them help their kids with homework. I saw them believe in themselves, and that made everything worth it. One day, my company called me in. I thought something was wrong, but my manager said, "Emily, we're proud of you. We want to give you an award." They gave me a small trophy. It said, "Community Hero." I held it in my hands. I looked at my manager. "Thank you," I said. But I didn't do it alone. After that, I got more attention. People from other cities asked if they could start a Code Together group. I said yes. I helped them with ideas. I gave them videos. I showed them how to begin small. Soon we had 5 groups, then 10. Women teaching women, helping each other, growing together. One morning, I looked out my window. The sky was pink and soft. I made a cup of coffee and sat at my desk. I opened my laptop and saw a new message. It was from Sophie. She said, "I got into college. I'm going to study computer science." I closed my eyes for a moment. I felt joy rise in my chest. She did it. She made it. I smiled and wrote back, "You are the future, Sophie. Never stop learning." That night, I sat with my mom. She was reading a book. I looked at her and said, "Do you remember the old laptop you bought me?" She laughed. "Yes, it cost more than we could afford." I held her hand. "That laptop changed my life. You believed in me when others didn't." She touched my face and said, "I knew you would do something good. You always had that fire in you." Now, I work full-time in tech, but I also run Code Together as a nonprofit. We have volunteers. We have support. And most of all, we have love. Love for learning. Love for growth. Love for each other. I don't have all the answers. I still make mistakes. But I wake up every day with a clear heart. I know what I do matters. I know small steps lead to big change. I know a little help can light up a whole life. People ask me, "How did you do it?" I tell them the truth. I worked hard. I believed in myself. And I never stopped learning. But more than that, I helped others grow too. That is real success. My story is not just mine. It belongs to every girl who felt left behind, to every woman who thought she was too late, to every mother who worked 2 jobs so her child could dream. This story is for them. If this story touched your heart, don't forget to like, comment, and share. More emotional and inspiring stories are coming soon.